Right?
I think Karen misses us.
I think she does too.
I think she misses being picked on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we're live.
We are.
Okay, let's
I wonder
see.
if anybody else is going to be alive tonight before.
I can be assured Audrey's going to be on here right away.
Oh, probably. Unless she finally fell asleep.
She's sitting there with her cutter and her fabric in hand.
If she falls asleep, she'll probably hibernate for the winter. She'll never wake up. What little sleep she's had all year.
Oh, hi Sandy. Hi Lynn. Hi
everybody.
Sherry. I talked to Sherry this afternoon.
Did you?
Yeah, she's not. I think it was Sherry. I shouldn't say that.
You
somebody
not say anything. If
no,
you
somebody wasn't
sure.
feeling well. I'm not sure if that was her or somebody else. Talked to so many people.
Oh, we got some people on.
Yes, we do.
So this is what I'm working on at home. I know you won't like this.
Oh my God.
I am having the
really?
most fun with this that I've had in a long time with a quilt.
Really?
Oh, like that is so me because it's all different blocks, every one, right? And I love that. So I've got them all done except these little ones.
All
right
the
there.
letters are done?
All the letters are done. All my blocks are done. I'm working on these.
Well, those are pretty similar. They're going to drive you crazy.
Those
They're
that's
repetitive.
And that's why I left it till last, right? Because you know me, like I like doing like.
Audrey says she is ready. Surprise, surprise.
So I'll soon.
There's
have
no
it done.
class this week, Audrey. Go back to sleep.
Oh no! Don't tell her that. Poor Audrey. Okay, I think we can get started by the looks.
Audrey, would you like to do our next one of our interviews coming up on
that
Sunday
would be
afternoon?
Neat.
Yeah, we need some more people. Audrey would be fun. Let me see who else's name I can. Bonnie
out of the
Gallant,
hat.
Sherry Malik, Peggy Donahue, Margaret Vale.
Is that a cluck cluck sew pattern behind us?
Brightly. I
Brightly.
can't remember.
I think it is. Is it not?
It might be. It's called Brightly. Maureen could do a video.
I think it is. Cluck, cluck, sew.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got four
Four more blocks,
more
Audrey.
blocks. One is a single. Three of them are singles that you just make one, and then one of them you make two.
Well, Audrey's going to be able to go to bed early.
I know,
tonight.
right? She'll be in bed like before midnight. What do you think?
Let's time her.
Okay, this is our first one. So, easy peasy. That is a 8.5-inch block. You're making one, and there really is nothing to it except I would say.
You can tell this design board's been used.
Yeah, you can. That's what mine all look like, and even worse.
Oh, really?
The only thing I did is when I got ready to put the 4 quadrants together, the two that are opposite, my little corner squares were ironed one way, and then these two were ironed the other way, so that when you went to put them together, they nested there. So these two were ironed in one direction, and these two were ironed in another direction, and then they nested. But other than that, you can't get any simpler than that block.
That's just like doing a snowball on one corner of a block.
Yeah, it is.
This is your block.
So that one is easy peasy. Okay. It's just a quadrant.
Before we go off from the show, Audrey's going to post hers.
Well, she could actually, because that one's easy enough to figure out without a pattern,
Hi,
right?
Wally.
So I did greens opposite blues, but you can do whatever you want, right? You could do all 4 different colors, whatever you want.
Somebody's posted new different colors today. I forget who that was.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Lynn commented, I forget the lady's name, but I really like the colors.
There was somebody I saw, but was that all the days run together? I can't remember one day.
So that's block number one.
So that's block number 1. So that one's easy peasy.
This is my favorite block in the whole thing, I think.
Oh, and these are cute.
I know
they really are. This is the one that you need 2 of.
Isn't that cute?
So those are 6.5-inch blocks. And they, again, are easy, easy peasy.
They just have square triangles with them.
It's basically a pinwheel in the center.
Yep.
Right? And then your little pieces here, you just have to be very careful when you're putting your little pieces on that you're putting it in the right corner, right? So look at that's all you got to do is make sure you're putting it.
They go on the inside. Can we say, yeah, they go on the inside. Yeah. They go,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would, like, it's just a matter of these pieces are shorter. These two are longer, right? On the long edge, they're longer. These ones are shorter. But just when you get ready, make sure that you're getting them in the right spot. But you've got the picture to go by.
Up?
No.
That's cute. I don't think I've ever seen that.
No,
with that
I've
little...
seen it a lot, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, some of us don't have time to sit on the computer all the time. So.
I know. But you know what I do?
What?
When I'm going through and looking at things online, when I see something I like, I take a screenshot.
Okay.
And then I put them in folders, like on my tablet. I have folders, like if it's quilt blocks or patterns or whatever. And then when you want something, you can find it. Because a lot of these like have the free links or whatever to where you go to get them. But,
this is my
so
favorite.
that's that one. You need 2 of those 6.5-inch blocks.
Hi, Carol.
And I chose to do one in each color.
It is Shirley. I know. Simple, but super cute.
And you could do those in any size, right? So easy to enlarge and do whatever you want, right? Okay, so now I'm going to save that one till last. So we're going to do this one next. This is another 8.5-inch block. Poor Lynn. She's probably like having panic attacks when she sees all the threads and strings on my blocks compared to hers. She's so neat and tidy. So guys, that again is so simple. You're only making one. It's an 8.5-inch block, and it's just your basic, what's that star? I get it.
Morning star.
So what's the sawtooth star in the morning? What's the difference?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think people probably call the same thing different names, I think.
So all that is, guys, is these are flying geese, right? 4 flying geese. Your 4 corner squares. So you're doing, if you want that look with the different ones, you just got to make sure when you do your flying geese that you pick 1 flying geese of this color, 1 of, you know, another color. Or as an alternative, you could do all white backgrounds here and do your dark strip in the middle.
Oh, so I haven't seen this layout, but does this butt up against another dark block? Like, is there a reason?
Will you?
Well, I'm just
the good
wondering.
news is, guys.
I don't know what's going on. That's the good news.
No. The good news is, guys, is that there's enough like 8.5-inch blocks that if it doesn't necessarily go in a certain spot, you can put it in any of the 8.5-inch block spots.
My
right?
question is, why didn't you do them all light?
Because yes, you could do just a normal.
Okay.
You could do a normal
But this
block.
adds interest to it.
It does. Or you could do it with these colored and this background. Right? Just something different. But that's
well, if you want different, wait until Lynn posts hers.
But that's the good news. Like when you have a layout, like a sampler layout that has a bunch of 8.5-inch blocks, a bunch of 6.5-inch blocks, especially when you're dealing with somewhat of a mystery and you guys don't know where they're going. Like when I first laid all my blocks out on the floor to get an idea, I moved things around to make it look more appealing because I was heavy. Like one time I laid them out, I was heavy on like the dark navies all in one corner of the quilts, right? So I just switched them around till it was more balanced, but we'll deal with that when we get there. But there's enough different places and different size blocks you're going to be able to move things around. Okay. No problem, right?
All right. We'll trust you.
So that one's easy peasy. And the only thing I would say on that for anybody who's a beginner, and this is just what I do, anytime I do a block like this that has plain blocks that aren't pieced, right? I always press, I was going to say iron, but I can't say that word because Linda might be watching. Right, Linda?
Poor Linda.
I know. So I always press towards the block, if I can, that doesn't have the point or whatever. So it works really well on a block like this because these seams you're going to press out here and then these ones you're going to press into this. So then they nest perfectly. They may not be lined up perfectly, but they're supposed to be.
They look pretty perfect to me.
So that's that one. So you need 1 of those 8.5-inch ones. So then this one is easy peasy, but we're going to talk a little bit about this one.
That's why you left it to last.
Yeah, because I'm going to ramble.
Oh.
So
and how's that different?
I know, different than any other thing, right? So that's just what people call a string block, right? So this one measures, just to give you the idea of how much it is, you only need 1. This is it's a weird shape. It's 6 by 7.5.
That is a weird shape. You're not going to be able to move that just anywhere.
No, you're not. You're not. So I didn't want it totally all dark because I wondered if then it would stick out like a sore thumb when a lot of your blocks have, you know, like background around them or whatever, that all of a sudden if you have background around every block and you have one that's solid color,
So that's why you put that center strip
that's
in there.
why I put something a bit lighter, right? Or if you wanted to end up with something lighter. And I used basically all different, but that doesn't mean that you have to. And you don't have to go corner to corner. So I used the Lori Holt sew-in interfacing on the back. You don't have to. If you want to just sew your strips together, you can. The only thing I would recommend is when you sew your strips together, so this is just a test one, and no, this is not in the quilt. These colors. Somebody asked me that last week, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I start with my center block and then a strip, and then I sew on this side and press out, and this side and press out. That's just me. You don't have to. If you wanted to start in a corner and work your way over, you could, but I find it harder because it's such a short little strip.
Well, you could make it longer and then just square it up.
Well, so this one is longer, and you wouldn't even have to go with your light down corner to corner. If you wanted to make your strip and cut it this way and have your stripes going straight across or up and down, you could do that, right?
You just wanted them diagonal, so that's what you
That's
did.
what I did, right? But you guys don't have to.
So if you were using this to cut diagonal, you would need another.
So that's what I was going to show you.
Sorry.
So that's the only thing I recommend is that because it's 6 inches, it's easy to figure out if you want that. Just take a 6-inch wide ruler, and it's going to, if you put your corner up there, it's 6 by 7.5. You know your 7.5 is going to be somewhere in the middle of your strip and your point up there. So that'll give you an idea of how wide you've got to go. And you wouldn't have to cut every one of your strips that long, right? You could start with a few long ones, and then when you get out here, you really only need to put some short ones right here, right?
Yeah.
So, but you can angle this however you want. If you want to put your strips and have your stripes going up and down, go for it. So if you don't have sew-in interfacing, you hear all the time people use just a piece of muslin or like which is just a thinner cotton or whatever.
So your instructions explain how to do that on a piece of muslin, or
I just said that I used a foundation of some sort, but you don't have to. When I sewed this one, I didn't use a foundation. The only thing I would recommend if you aren't using a foundation is you've got to be a bit more careful when you iron these, that you're not twisting and pulling a bit tighter on one side than the other, because you'll get like wonky wavy lines, right? So I think that's why with string quilts, lots of times they recommend you use a foundation. So you could use just a piece of white cotton, anything that wouldn't show through.
Kendra says a phone book.
I was going to say, years ago they said phone book. Nowadays I don't think a lot of people even have phone books in their houses anymore, because you look everything up online, right? But a piece of newsprint would work, right? That's the same thickness as a phone book. I've even heard of people using dryer sheets. You see that a lot. I've never done it myself, but I don't see why it wouldn't work.
So you don't tear that foundation off after, correct?
I don't. If it's fabric, I don't, or if it's my sew-in interfacing. If you're using a phone book or some other type of paper, it's very similar to, you'd be doing a technique very similar to foundation paper piecing, so you'd have to tear your papers off, right? So just have fun with it. Like, cut some strips, all different sizes, whatever you want, right?
Strips.
No rhyme or reasons. Like this one, I've got every width. I've got, I think this one started at 1.5. These started at 1.25, I think, maybe. These might have been 2, like just different sizes.
Just use up your scraps.
And I went with the same colors going from the inside out, but you don't have to, because like this one was totally...
That one fell.
Oh,
way in there.
So
don't bump your head.
Good thing I'm flexible.
As she bumps her head.
Yeah, this one I did all different, right? So you can do whatever you want. But don't get all hung up about it being perfect. Like, it can be whatever angle you want those stripes to be on. But I liked the looks of it with that center strip sort of centered from this point to this point. So that's all. What is anybody saying? Anything?
No. Does anybody have any questions? Janet Flynn, before we went live, we saw you had a question for Twyla, and she's going to deal with that
answer
after.
you when I get home.
Yep.
Okay? So that's it for this week. So you need one of each of the blocks except this one. And you need 2 of those ones, the 6.5 inch blocks.
And if I were you, Audrey, I'd make like 50 of them because they'd be a cute border. And you got the time.
It depends on how.
That's a really cute block.
It is a really cute block, isn't it?
Yeah, that would make a nice border.
It is, yeah, really cute. And you wouldn't even have to do that all the same print. You could do scrappy. If you're going with out of your scrap pile, you could do each one of these a different color, right?
That would be cute too.
It would be if you're going with a scrappy look, right? You can do whatever. Have fun, which a lot of you are because your blocks have been really cute.
Okay, so the first
look at the dust.
This came from her house.
Yeah, right.
So the first set of blocks I see tomorrow morning or whenever, the first set of blocks, we'll get some rolled up fabric samples from my fabric rep. Audrey's gotten it for 2 weeks in a row, so let's see if it's going to be Audrey or if it's going to be somebody else.
Let's see if anybody else is really on the ball tonight or can't sleep.
Yeah, if you post your blocks, that doesn't mean you have to have 1 and 2 done. You just have to have these done. In order to...
Oh, you mean like week 1 and 2?
Right.
Yeah, just this
right.
week.
They just have to have this week's. The first one to post this week's.
Yeah. So I will post. So I don't know how everybody made it.
Is there something you need to tell me? Nancy says, I thought Charlie was going to tell us a surprise of something.
Oh, you told them that we were going to share our exciting news.
Which news was that? Oh, I did. I did. I forgot.
No, I'm not pregnant.
Okay. So Twyla and I were sent application forms to go to a Moda retreat in Texas. It's called Motivation, and we have to take our sewing machines, and we get to take classes from all the fabric designers, and we're going to come back with lots of ideas and new projects, and
we get to tour the Moda warehouse.
Yes, in Texas.
In Texas. It's in Dallas.
Yes, and there was a whole list of things. They're giving us grab bags, and they're like we're gone
like schoolroom, classroom type things.
Yes, which is what we brought back from Texas before. We had lots of giveaways. So I don't know what they're going to give us, but if we have stuff to give away, we're going to give it away.
It's June for those of you who just asked. It's in June.
But having said that, Janine and I are going on a tour. I won't say which warehouse it is, but we're going December the 16th. Janine and I are leaving Sunday afternoon. They are flying us. This fabric shop is flying us there to go through their warehouse, and then we're flying back the very next day. So we're only gone like 2.5 days, and it's a long flight. We're gonna be burnt. Anyway, so that's going to happen around December the 16th.
Right before Christmas, because they've got nothing else to do the month of December.
Well, when you get a phone call saying come, we come.
Right? Yeah. So we're very excited to be going. It's going to be a fun trip.
It will be fun.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. It's going to be your first getaway since you've left, so it's going to be a nice getaway.
It will be very nice. Yeah.
So we'll come back with all kinds of tips and things from the designers about their future collections.
I'm sure there'll be all kinds of stuff shared, right?
Yes.
It'll be awesome. And I don't know if every single designer is there or if it's just a few that each
so
year
this only used to be
ones.
opened up to U.S. residents. This is the
to
first
U.S. shops.
Shop
owners, yeah.
So this is the first time they've invited a Canadian shop to go. So we're quite excited about that.
Yeah.
Stacy will not go. I have asked him. I have begged him.
Homebody.
He will not leave his cat. He will not leave Booby. And he will not leave South Range.
Somebody could look after Booby.
No, nobody can look after Booby like Stacy.
He's a homebody. He really is.
It's not like I haven't asked him to go or offered him to go. Every staff that's been here, I think I've offered to take him somewhere. Not everybody takes me up on it, but
and if somebody doesn't enjoy traveling, it's no fun, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, that's our exciting news.
Yeah, I think the reason they invited us for December is because my fabric rep told them that we were getting a new building.
Right.
And I think that's what initiated that, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're excited.
So, we'll be back next Monday night unless something breaks or comes undone.
Breaks?
That was what my grandfather used to say. Unless something broke or come undone, we'll be there wherever. So,
well, I hope you don't
so
break,
next
Father.
Monday night, we'll be here at 7 with some more blocks. I'm trying to think what we might tackle next week. Maybe we'll do the paper piecing block where we draw the...
You're going to teach them how to do that.
Teach them how to draw their own thing so that they don't have to print it off for this block and do that.
And
So
but
maybe
don't
we'll
get
do that.
scared. If you don't like paper piecing,
You can do something
there
else.
are other options.
Yeah, you can substitute it easy
I
enough.
can't remember the dates, Marilyn. It's June something for our motivation
June
retreat.
8th to the 15th or 14th, something like that. Yep.
Audrey's saying, ready, set, go.
Oh, she probably there. You don't get in too big of a. Don't get your engines revving yet. I haven't even got the directions there yet.
You should send them to everybody except Audrey.
I can't do that. It's on. That's not fair. Poor Audrey. She can't sleep. She may as well at least sew. Right?
That's true. That's true.
Right. She may as well sew.
Okay. All right. We will see you back here next Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Have fun, guys.
Okay. Bye-bye.